Okay, talk to him, see what that did.
Charlie Horse, 88.
24, traffic 27.
85 just made a pass in there. It was any...
Go 21, 77.
Roger, sir. Be advised we have Jolly Green 21 and 66 standing by over at Tunnel
Okay, I'll
103.
put it a little closer than those trees. Let me come around with a Lao 3 and I'll put it on those trees there. Roger that, Lao 3.
Because I was a captain at that time, they gave me a little room to run. And my checkout at that time, remember they were really short of pilots in '68 because they'd had the bombing pause, which gave everybody time to breathe. And it worked out in our favor. But they were so short of pilots that my entire checkout to combat qualification consisted of one ride in the right seat and one ride in the left seat, and that's it. I was qualified for combat right there. I remember Major Tom Campbell was in my right seat for that qualification ride. And on the way back, he said, "Rich, you didn't screw up any more than anybody else does. You're good to go." Holy smokes.
That's it, huh?
That was it. That particular mission was flown against Kon Kai, which is the Chinese embassy in North Laos. And we were ordered specifically not to hit certain buildings in that area. And I remember on the brief, they went over it and they had photographs and they talked about it incessantly. They said, do not bomb these buildings. So we had a bunch of jets working with us. And our responsibility was to mark the target and hightail it out of town. Well, this is my first combat ride in the left seat, and I'm kind of lost. And I managed to bomb off the rocket pod when requested to mark the target because Lee had run out of rockets. Dumb trick, new guy trick, but that's the way it was. I remember that day. Do you know how big the E model is?
Oh, it's massive.
And a lot of windows.
Yeah.
There was a 37 millimeter burst in every window, in every direction, all the way around us. And I was trying to hang on to flight lead and do my things, stayed in a position to cover him, or at least figure out where he went down if we had that trouble. And all these flak bursts around us, 37 millimeter. And in the middle of this, Sandy 3 has just gone down. And that was just east of where we were. So we immediately asked if we should go help. Well, what would we do? He was out of rockets, I was out of rockets. So we could have covered a rescue effort, I guess, as far as that goes. This is still my first mission in the airplane. First combat mission.
So after that, what were your thoughts when you got back on day one, at the end of day one?
You know what I'm thinking? You're going to die. There's no way. Oh, God. It was tragic. Charlie Coleman was the guy that was killed. Was later to be cut. I'm not sure if they ever recovered the remains or not. I can't allude to that. Charlie evidently attempted a split S from low altitude and didn't quite make it. And he said something like, "I got him in sight, come on down here with me." And he wanted his wingman to come down with him, but it was nuts. It was gone. Out of that mission that day, when we got back, Major Tom O'Connor was flying another aircraft. And we had all joined up and come home as one big flight. And Tom came over the air and he said, "I want to be the last to land." I said, "I think I've got some battle damage." And I can't tell you why, but that made a deep impression on me at that time. I hope he's here, and I hope we get a chance to talk. He was a true gentleman, really.
He wasn't going to land before anybody else.
Because he couldn't be sure.
Yeah.
He'd taken a round in the wing, and he couldn't be sure that he was going to get his landing gear down.
That's a leader.
That's a leader. Yeah, that's a man, by God.
Yeah.
They don't make them any better than that.
Do you have any stories about SARS or prairie fire missions that you might have pulled? Any troops in contact?
There was only one. We didn't do very many of the prairie fires. We did, the hobos handled a lot of that, the first ASCS. But they and the Dusties understood each other pretty well, and there was some awfully good work done there with the prairie fire teams, SOG teams. I remember one of the Dusty pilots telling me that he was a bit nervous about this whole thing. He said, you got all these guys in the back of the helicopter, they're in black suits, no rank on any of them. They're all got hot weapons. He said, what are you going to do with a whole airplane loaded of guys with hot weapons?
Put them anywhere they want to go.
Anywhere they want to go. It's up to you, boys.
Yeah.
The only time that I ran into a close air thing that was serious, right after we took off, they called us and said, get a hold of the airborne cricket, the airborne CCC, right away. They need you. Okay. So we gave Cricket a call on the VHF, and we've got a SOG team pinned down. It's a LERP. It was a 7-man team. They're stuck in the course, and we need you to go help them out. Okay, we can do that. So we went to that frequency for those guys on the FM radio. So they're on handheld radios now. And we could actually talk to them. But at the time, bear in mind, they were pinned down and under fire. And only dogs could have heard their voices. We're pinned down, we're getting shot at. And I don't blame them. It was an exciting moment. And, Firefly, where are you? Well, I'm on my way. Well, how long? I said, I don't know. I don't know where you're at. And it takes forever to get someplace in the Skyraider. You're just not going very fast. Eventually, we were talking, and he said, you just went over me. And there was a clump of trees right off my starboard side that was evidently distinctive in that layout of the topography at that time. Because I told him, I don't want to give away your position. I'll be right back. Where are they? And his voice had come down a little bit, and he said, they're in the trees, they're in the trees. Okay, all right, I'll be right back. I don't want to give away your position. So I did a Whifferdale turn, taking it easy on the airplane, because if the airplane talks to you, and when it starts shuddering, you better ease off. Whatever you're doing to it, the airplane don't like it. Came back in, and I had that group of trees, and I had what he had given me as his position. I told two, drop yours right on mine, and we put down 2 cans of napalm apiece. And this voice on the ground came down about 3 octaves. He said, ain't nobody shooting out of there, sir. Okay, now, where's the rest of them? Where do you want us to go? So we orbited their position for about 45 minutes. And he kept asking me, how's your fuel, how's your fuel? And finally it got to be annoying. I said, I'll worry about my fuel, let's worry about you getting out of there.
Take 1. Fast movers in the night means search and rescue at first light. Hey beeper, come up voice, get your young ass on that horse. We took big air bursts on this SAR. This could be my silver star. We bring Charlie Grease by all means. Stands with a load. I see an F4 taking off, and I start to think, why don't they move it? Why don't they jinx? Seems like every SAR I've been on since I've been down, it was for some fast mover who was fucking around. But it's our day and we don't care. Like the dust and we'll be there. We fly war machines by